We're in the process of looking back at the legacy of Doom Eternal, bringing up some old topics. We've covered the platforming, the weak point system, and now let's talk about quick swapping. Sometimes I hear people say, I don't like Doom Eternal because I don't like quick swapping. So, is Doom Eternal actually a quick swapping game? Some of you are asking, what's quick swapping? And that alone makes me say, no, it isn't. Because the vast majority of people who played Doom Eternal once or twice or even a few times never played with quick swapping. For the uninitiated, quick swapping is when you fire a weapon and then switch to another to fire again quickly, bypassing the recovery. For example, shooting the rocket launcher has a period of recovery before you can shoot again, but if you switch to another weapon right away, you can fire sooner. Shooting the super shotgun goes through a reload animation before you can shoot again, or swap to something else and fire. Cycle through various weapons to see how fast you can fire them. This is a way of increasing your damage output, doing faster combos, and it acts as an incentive to engage in weapon variety. Your ammo use will also increase since you're firing a lot faster, so you'll need to use more ammo types that you might not be using so much, or you'll be depending more on the chainsaw. Quick swapping makes easy work of heavy demons and can be devastating when paired with frag grenades. Enemies just can't move. This is where a lot of high-level fun is found in Doom Eternal. If you watch anyone speedrunning or playing the game seriously, they are quick swapping. Doom Eternal's quick swapping also completely forgets the recovery animation of the previously used weapon, allowing you to switch back and forth between two weapons firing constantly, never seeing the recovery. The fastest gun to swap to is the heavy cannon, so players will often use quick precision bolt shots between heavy weapons as a way to maintain fast, consistent damage output. You can even perform a dead swap, which is switching away from a gun you just fired and then switching right back. At some point in the game's life, it was discovered you could use the melee button as a way to cancel recovery animations, which gave rise to punch swapping, which looks pretty goofy. There's a lot of tech in this game around weapon swapping and increasing your DPS, and everyone plays a little different, depending on what they prefer. This is all stuff you can do in Doom Eternal. It's not what the game was built around, and to understand what the game was built around, we have to understand the design philosophy. When the game was first revealed at QuakeCon 2018, the gameplay we saw was largely staged. Looking back at it, we can see the huge differences between that demo and the final game. The rocket ammo is at 35 in the demo, max ammo is now only 13. Ammo across the board was dropped for all weapons. You'll also notice that not a single weak point is broken, because they didn't have that system yet. We also don't see the dynamic faltering system that allows for enemy manipulation and stun setups. They didn't even really know the gameplay they were making at that point. Here's an old quote from Hugo about it.
The truth is, when we showed it at QuakeCon, that was me playing that video of like that really long playthrough, and we showed a shit ton of content.
That was 2018, right?
Yeah. It was, there was a lot of content. We showed like a lot of stuff. It was all a lie, basically. I was playing in a way that was like meant to make it look cool, and I was weapon switching and doing all these things, but the whole time I was, I'm like, the game needs to make you play this way. Like, I'm going to play this way because this is kind of like a touch point for what we hope to achieve, and how the game will naturally make you want to play, where I'm switching and I'm moving and I'm dodging, and you can feel it. You can feel the action, and it looks awesome. Because if it looks fun to play an action game, then it probably feels fun to play an action game. So, but the way I really needed to play was just walk up to everybody and point blank them with a double barrel shotgun. And I had a couple of cuts of that, and I'm like, yeah, we can't do this. Like, let's pretend like I'm really under duress and I have to do all these things, because ultimately that's the game we want to make.
So with the intention behind Doom Eternal being to get you to stop playing boring, they were going to give you reasons to play smart. They wanted the fun way to play to be the right way to play. But what is the fun way? Is it quick swapping? No, of course not. Quick swapping is not shown off in any of the promotional material, it's never talked about by the devs. In fact, in the early days of the game, the precision bolt swap speed was nerfed because they were worried it was going to be too powerful, but the outcry from the high-level community got them to quickly revert the change. So yeah, the high-level players were using quick swaps, but the general gameplay was never made with it in mind, and 99% of the people who were playing the game had no idea it even existed. Later, they did actually add a tutorial screen telling players about quick swaps because they came to see how much fun people were having, and telling people about it opens up new avenues for gameplay. But it's not necessary to enjoy the game. Doom Eternal was designed around general weapon variety. They wanted to see people using a lot of options and having fun. That's it. Shoot a few sticky bombs, target a weak point with the ballista, meat hook into a super shotgun kill, shoot the plasma rifle for a while until you charge up a big heat blast, see a Cacodemon and charge up an arbalist shot before pulling out the chain gun and firing the mobile turret. This is what the developers imagined the gameplay looking like when someone is having fun. And this is what it looks like when you're learning and enjoying the game early on. You can choose to take it further as you figure out your preferences, develop strategies, and yes, use quick swap combos if you want to play like that. But the game was never created with quick swapping in mind and should therefore not be considered a quick swapping game, because selling it to people like that can really turn them off. I've wondered who's to blame for this reputation, and while I do think it's a misunderstanding on behalf of those who don't know the game, I can't help but lay the blame at our own feet. First of all, nearly every single public figure in the Doom Eternal community was a PC player using quick swapping within 3 months of the game's launch. So if you were following anyone from speedrunners to streamers to general strategists on YouTube, you were seeing footage that looked like the crazy footage you're seeing here. Precision bolt rocket swaps, SSG dead swaps, just crazy deletion of enemies. And yes, it's very fun to play this way once you know the game, but we created a system where new people coming to the game were being introduced to this gameplay style a little too early, when they should have been naturally discovering the game's flow on their own. If the first thing you see of Doom Eternal is this insane weapon swap gameplay, that's what you're gonna think the game is supposed to be when it's really not. And secondly, much worse, is that some players that were into this quick swapping style and followed the leaders of the community who also played this way, were very quick to judge people who did not play this way. It became unfortunately common for someone new to the game, trying to stream it a couple years after it came out, to be faced with people in their chat telling them they're playing the game wrong, pressuring them to do weapon swap combos, at times even ridiculing them for playing how they want to play while they're still learning. Or hell, even after they're already decent at the game and they're just not using quick swaps. Is it really worth getting someone to lose interest in playing our game because they have people constantly telling them they're wrong? Who cares about how other people play if they're having a good time and finding success? I've heard from enough people at this point who've been put off of the game from this specific experience to know that it was a significant enough problem, and it's just really sad. It's very similar to what you see when people stream an action game like Devil May Cry 5 for their first time, and fans come in screaming about them not using jump canceling or whatever. It really turns people off your game. There's nothing worse than people yelling at you for not having fun the right way. It's one thing if they're trying to help you with a problem, but when you're already having a good time and people are nagging you for not doing certain things, that's no fun. So as I wrap up this little video, I'd like to leave you with that message. Don't judge how people enjoy video games. If you want to tell them about something cool, go for it. You can expand their experience. But don't get upset that they don't choose to do it. If they're having fun and they're finding success, then chances are they aren't playing the wrong way. And give people time to experience games on their own terms for a while. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed all the Doom stuff.